The fifth and final member of Mr. TAGRO's Holy Beast series of Medarot 4 finally gets its own successor model, with several different style heads and a much more aggressive kit across the board. It is HDR01 Vasiliades, with a completely new kit of RP shot, rebuild shot, tank legs, and the leg ability of reversal, which buffs power and success of user when receiving a healing action. Now, of all the Holy Beasts that we've seen get successor models over the course of these last 5 years, that includes Sappho Behemoth, Shud Wyvern, Disthai Centaurus, and of course Mizrash Levia as well, the only one that was left without a particular upgrade was the sadly useless Greek head that had been in the game since launch as part of the standard 2-star pool. And even with his ability to be basically gained by almost anybody that had been playing longer than a week, his kit unfortunately makes him extremely niche and really not all that useful as far as competitive or even just regular play is concerned, with a very extremely reliant healing kit and really not all that great stats across the board. But thankfully, Vasiliades here as the new successor to Greek head as the new Hydra type definitely plans to make changes to that and make it clear that you can be both aggressive and the team medic if you know how to make the use of it properly. RP shot on the head part, or explained simply as repair plant shot, is a shooting attack that is a brand new skill being introduced into the game. Simply explained, upon attacking the target, the user will also put down a repair plant with 3 charges on the allied side of the field. Now, this is very simply a nod to another earlier plant dropping skill that we got recently, such as, say, HP shot with heater plant shot, or someone similar, where upon attacking the target, it does also apply a heater plant down on the allied side. This is basically the same effect. However, repair plant actually can be pretty solid when used correctly thanks to its ability of passive healing, because every time an ally completes a heat phase, as long as the plant is active, all damaged parts that are not broken get a certain amount of HP back as long as the plant remains active and it has charges. So as long as you can keep that up, and as long as nothing's broken, you can keep your HP up as high as possible pretty consistently with very minimal effort required on the healer's part or anyone else's part as necessary. Rebuild on the right arm is a brand new healing skill being introduced into Medarot S, but it's more or less not quite a new skill as far as a seasoned Medarotters are concerned, but it's simply put the continuous repair ability that we actually saw back in the days of Medarot 2 Core or the RPG, where simply it doesn't do anything at a glance, but upon applying it to the target, they will be getting an amount of HP back over time for every tick of the Robattle clock. So this means instead of getting an amount of repair back to yourself immediately, or getting it upon completing a turn, such as with a repair plant, this basically applies to you over the amount of time that the continuous repair symptom is active. So this means that without having to actively go back and heal this person over and over, this kind of allows it to do the job for you and kind of take a little bit of weight off the healer's responsibilities, especially if they have to juggle multiple people at once with healing. Rebuild shot on the left arm is a shooting skill and another brand new skill into the game, but simply explained, it's essentially rebuild but as a shooting skill. So much like RP shot will attack the target and then offer an additional bonus, that is what rebuild shot does. Upon shooting the target and landing a successful attack, it will also apply a stack of rebuild or continuous repair to self. So much like it was with standard rebuild, while this effect is active, they will be progressively restoring HP to all parts over time the longer the fight drags out. So this means that if you're able to tank hits fairly well without anything breaking, this can be a very good way to not only have your cake and eat it too, as far as being a more semi-aggressive type of medic and healer while you're on the team. Tank legs means that Vasiliades will also have very solid bulk as far as the numbers are concerned, at the trait of having B rank across the board with no terrain compatibility or incompatibility across the board, minus of course S rank, which everyone gets on Cyber anyway. But also packing some very impressive stats with a standard three heavy part slot as more or less expected of all tank legs across the board. A base mobility of 641 actually will put Vasiliades just a little bit higher as far as most other tank legs are concerned. So while he most certainly does have the inability to dodge or evade incoming attacks, he is going to be just a little bit faster compared to most other standard tank legs that are in the standard or even pickup banner pools. minus a handful of the specialized boss types. But with resist stats of 2086 for that melee resist and a 2257 for that shoot, this Hydra type is definitely not going down without a fight, because you are going to have to really hammer this guy if you want to take him down quickly. And if you don't break anything, you're going to be in for a tough time thanks to all those passive healing abilities that it has at its disposal. On the topic of armor, it's packing just over 4,700 for the head, 4,379 for both arms, and just over 4,600 for the legs, which means that this Hydra type is not only bulky, but also incredibly more so, with very high resist stats and a very high HP pool on top of that. So unless you're going in for a kill, this Hydra type is going to be pretty tough to beat. And that is also not counting on Reversal, which, for every healing effect that it receives unto itself, will boost its success and its damage for the next attack that it lands. And between RP Shot and Rebuild Shot being aggressive type attacks with extra perks, it's actually very, very easy to make use of this condition. All this being said though, as a pure set score, I honestly have to rate Vasiliades kind of a middle-of-the-road 6.5 out of 10. While he is most certainly very, very good at making sure his HP stays very high across himself and his allies, and he can most certainly hold the bulk very well with a very synergetic healing-based medic team, it is also worth noting the potential red flags and the big glaring weaknesses that he does bring to the table. The first of which is, while he does have HP restoration down pat between 3 different types of new skills, he does not have part restoration, which means if anything breaks between himself or any enemy or any allies across the team, they're sadly hosed. And the more parts that get broken, the harder it is for Vasiliades to actually do his job. That especially applies to himself being triple heavy, which means he is of course susceptible to the gravity punish from break, press, break rush, or anything of the or break hammer, or anything similar to that, which most certainly will bring the weight as a punish to this very heavy Hydra type. As mixed parts though, I do have to rate him equally at a 6.5 out of 10 for these same reasons. While all 3 parts are actually pretty solid, like you could use these on your passive-aggressive healer with very little drawback or penalty, minus of course the heavy limit of course, they all honestly offer very solid buffs that you could use basically anywhere. RP Shot basically for applying that continuous repair with a condition to everyone across the team with that plan active, Rebuild for applying continuous repair to basically anyone on the allied side of the field, or Rebuild Shot for attacking and applying that continuous repair to self just to give yourself just a little bit more survivability. And of course, Tank Legs with good numbers and Reversal for your passive aggressive for your medic also is a very good fit as well. So while you do definitely need to make sure and be careful of the bulk in particular, the very high heat stat as well in the mid to high 700s or even high 800s is also not anything to sneeze at either. So even with the low mobility, you can certainly get back and forth to the line very, very quickly without anything really hammering you to